What's happening, Black Healing Matters family? This is Danielle here at the Black Healing Matters podcast, where we offer you ideas to hopefully move you one step closer to your healing. And it is a beautiful Friday here in South Korea, and I'm really excited today, not just because it's Friday, but every Friday here on the Black Healing Matters podcast, we bring you something hot to help you enhance your finances. And today I'm excited because I'm bringing you not just something, but someone. Y'all, you heard me right. Someone. We have our guest today, Miss Tasha Danielle, who is a CPA. Okay, she has been a CPA for more than 10 years, working with some of the top companies in the world, really, in corporate financing and accounting. Now, you may remember her because she's also the CEO of Financial Garden, which is a company that she started to help educate children on financial literacy and the importance thereof. So I'm very lucky, and we're very lucky and blessed to have her here today with us to share some of her knowledge, her gems on finances, because trust me, y'all, she's got plenty. So Tasha, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you for having me back, and thank you for that awesome intro.
Tasha, man. Okay, Black Healing Matters family, I gotta tell you, me and Tasha have been talking for like the past, off air for like the past 30 minutes, okay? And when we got on the air, when we first started talking, she said, "Do you realize that today is the 10-year anniversary of our college graduation?" Yes, me and Tasha graduated from the same college 10 years ago to this day. Can you believe it?
I cannot. I was like, I made it my throwback Thursday, like 10 years ago today. I walked across that stage, got my degree in psychology and economics, double major, whoop, whoop.
Ooh,
and wow. A little over $50,000 in student loan debt as my gift. So, hey.
Hey. Wow. We decided on the spot, like we had a plan, y'all. We had other plans for this episode. But we decided on the spot that this is a topic that I think not only both of us, really need to talk about, but there are so many college graduates, people who are graduating from college and even high school now around this season now, who who don't have any kind of financial sense about what's going on in their lives and what's going to come. And so we started talking about, what would happen, what advice would we have liked to receive 10 years ago from our, recent college graduate self? What advice do we wish somebody had told us upon graduating from college with student loan debt? I know I wasn't employed. Tasha had her roadmap, though. She was ready. I wasn't so ready, So it's completely dedicated to just sharing some of the tips and advice that we wish somebody had told us 10 years ago when we graduated from college. So Tasha, I know, like I said, you are very structured. You had, you had this stuff in the line. But what kind of advice would you give to a recent college graduate like yourself, who maybe even has a career plan, maybe not, but is graduating with college debt?
Okay, so I'm gonna back up a little bit. Just quickly, the advice I would give on a non-financial side is when you're starting your career, just make sure you're networking with people that you're first starting with. That is one thing I wish I would have done more of. I am naturally an introvert and still am. But I started off at an accounting firm, and I was just all work and maybe lunch because I just really wasn't comfortable in that environment yet. Mm-hmm. But those are your peers. Those are the people that are going to be rising up with you, who are going to be the CFOs, directors of, the major corporations, and you don't want to lose those relationships. But back to your question on student loan debt. The first thing I would tell a college graduate to do after celebrating is to pull their credit report. They need to go to annualcreditreport.com and pull their credit report, because that is the only way to get your official credit report. Now, you can go to sites like Credit Karma and Credit Sesame. They are from the bureaus as well, but they're not your official credit report. There's different things in the Fair Credit Reporting Act that is required to be in your official credit report that differs from what's on Credit Karma. But either way, pull the credit report to see your total student loan balance. That's the first thing you need to figure out. You need to figure out exactly how much you owe and to what lenders, because I'm pretty sure that, you don't know. You just signed on the dotted line every semester for those loans. And so you may be like, no one told me I had all these different lenders, but I can guarantee you in 6 months, unless you're going to graduate school, people are going to be calling you for your first month payment. And they don't care if you didn't know. So that's first, number one. Pull your credit report to see all your student loan lenders and the balances. And then you can also, I would check with your financial aid office to see what they have on record too. But first thing is figure out all your balances.
That's a good point. I was so surprised to see all the lenders that I had. I had no idea. Like you said, when you're just signing on the dotted line, you don't really think about that, especially when you're like 18, 19, 20 years old. So good advice. That's solid. For myself, I would say, like you said about pulling your credit, also, I would say look into establishing good credit. Making, like you said, making those payments regularly once they do start coming in. And thinking about, how you're going to do that and taking that very seriously. I really didn't take that very seriously, and my credit suffered because of it. But I think if I had that mindset, if somebody had told me upon graduation, like, this is actually important and you really need to focus on, building good credit, I think I would have been in a very different position.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not realize that the difference between myself and my peers. Like, thank God for my grandma, because she schooled me right after high school. So, as you know, I showed you my folder. Y'all can't see us, but I still have my folder of all my student loan, the original letters, when I got them every semester, so I could have them all in one place. And I had like 9 different lenders. Wow. So I knew at graduation, like, okay, this is the plan. You pay. So luckily, I did have a wonderful grandmother who taught me about credit scores and making sure I paid myself on time. So I didn't have that initial barrier.
That is so true, because I didn't get that, and so kudos to your grandmother for giving you that information, because I promise you I didn't get it. Another thing, like you said, networking. I think that is something that is sorely overlooked, especially when we talk about finances. Because like they say, I know it's corny, but they say your network determines your net worth. That is so true. And especially like, as you're like kind of awkward, getting into the workforce, you're new on the job, you're like, a lot of times, I know I was looking into jobs when I was looking into jobs here in the States. Most of them were like for programs with other recent college graduates, which are great programs. But like you said, networking with the people in those groups, man, like that, that's what sets people apart. Like now I'm, in my 30s, and I look at people who are like company CFOs and company, vice presidents of this and VPs of that, and I'm like, and they're the same age as me. I'm like, how did that happen? How did one person in 10 years become a manager or whatever, supervisor, and the other one is like a CFO or like, like a vice president of a whole division of a company? Like, that don't happen just, happenstance. So I think the network is so crucial, because when you see all these beautiful young people in these high positions, please believe they were working their network.
Yeah. They were.
They were
Very
working
true.
that network.
Very true. Very true, Danielle.
And it all transcends to your finances big time.
It does. I agree.
All right. Do you have any other advice for recent college graduates?
Besides pulling your credit report, number one, if you are feeling like you're overwhelmed and you're like, okay, I got this wonderful degree, but I don't have a job, go to studentaid.ed.gov. That should be your favorite on your homepage because you are going to need to contact them for maybe going into a payment plan based on your income. So income-based repayment plan. So you can't say I couldn't afford it. You contact them so they can put you on a payment plan according to your income. That's only for federal loans. If you have private student loans, it's a little bit different. But I would encourage you to start there. Do not just go Google searching for debt consolidations or student loan forgiveness. Always start with student.ed.gov and go from that site because there are so many scammers out here that saying that they're doing consolidations and student loan forgiveness and they're not. So pull your credit report, number one. Second, consider income-based repayment plans on student.ed.gov. Third, I would say definitely look into student loan forgiveness because if you work in certain areas or certain nonprofits, you can have your student loans forgiven after 10 years of solid payment. So I know 10 years may seem far away, but look at us. Came here really quick. Came really quick.
I know. I don't feel that old.
Right. So the time is going to pass. So why not start now to make the plan? Hey, you may volunteer at a 501c3, your church may give you the hours to have student loans forgiven in 10 years. So those three things is what I will be focusing on to make sure you don't become a victim of student loan debt.
That's huge. I couldn't agree more. That's a really good resource, y'all. And that's real talk. I hope y'all wrote that down. Student.ed.gov. Good stuff. That is the truth all day. I think the last tip that I would give in wrapping up today in our 10-year anniversary advice episode here is to look into non-traditional ways of making money. I think a lot of people still, I don't know how, but in 2018, still have this mentality of just go to work and get a job, and then that is the only way to make money. And the world that we live in is very different now than it was even 10 years ago. But even 10 years ago, a lot of the opportunities that are presented today did exist. I wasn't so privy to them. I wasn't so open to them. And now I feel like I definitely regret that because it's, for me now as it's in my 30s, it's a major shift from trying to get away from this mindset of making all my money from a job versus looking into other alternative forms of finance. Because the truth is, I mean, our economy is changing and jobs are getting harder and harder to get. And so for many of us, we have talents, we have skills, we have things that we can offer that are worth money. Okay, like we can actually deliver and get paid for without going through the whole corporate or job thing. There's nothing wrong with getting a job. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying being open to other forms of other ways of making money, because I really wasn't when I got out of college. And I think that's now to my detriment because I'm now having to make that shift. And it's not so easy when you have, you have a lot of responsibilities going on. So as a recent college graduate, I would definitely say start, especially in this day and age. We're living in, 2018. There's really, really no reason why you can't look into other ways of making money, whether it's some kind of, website, online, tutoring, anything. Like, there's so many ways to make money that don't require you to be in an office or in a corporate setting.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Because I wish I would have thought about that more too, because I was like, I don't have any talent. I'm an accountant and I can't sing, I can't dance, so what can I do? So that's a good point.
Yeah, I felt the same way. And I'm still struggling with that. But I know I have talents and skills to, that are marketable, but it's really hard to make that transition after you've been entrenched in that mindset for so long. So I feel like if I was when I was younger, I would have been much more open to it.
I know.
The things we learned. All right,
exactly.
Tasha, let's wrap this up. Do you have any other last minute advice for the folks?
Just enjoy life. It's going to go fast. And also just remember that you are at the peak right now, and you may hit a very low valley coming up because you're like, I'm not making the money, or you don't get the job you want. Consider getting off social media when you get those points, because people are going to be showing you the highlight reels, and you may become feeling like, oh my God, I'm not where I need to be. And or vice versa, because I did, my plan was lined up and everything worked out accordingly for me, and me showing myself on social media had people feeling a certain type of way. So it's just, again, remember, especially Instagram, that's a highlight reel, and that you need to think about your goals and what's good for you, and not following what everybody else is doing. So
yeah, that's good advice for your whole life right there.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't really ever change. At least in my experience.
I just want to, I said the wrong website. I said student, but student.ed is studentaid.ed.gov. So just want to make sure I had it right.
Okay. Yeah, I'll link it in the show notes. All right.
Okay. Oh, cool.
No problem. All right, Black Healing Matters family. I hope that you gleaned some insights from this conversation. We are like I said, 10 years out, two women, Black women, 10 years out of university. We both took very different paths. And we're both, we're all right, but we did take different paths. Okay. Yeah. And so with that, we have different experiences and different, advice, but I hope that you were able to get some insights from the things that we talked about as well. Black Healing Matters family, if you have any insights that you would like to share that you think are important for young people, or, people who are recently graduating or starting their careers, to really incorporate into their finances and financial planning, please do send me an email, blackhealingmatters@gmail.com. Send me a call in if you're here on the Anchor Nation, or again, anything else, comment, Facebook group, Black Healing Matters. We're here. Okay. On that note, I love you, Black Healing Matters family. Again, major thank you to Tasha of Financial Garden, Tasha Danielle, for coming through and sharing her amazing insights. And if you're looking for those links that she dropped, they will be in the show notes. And on that note, stay blessed. And as always, Black Healing Matters.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.